Hello everybody, welcome to my first ever YouTube video here on my MCJGP YouTube channel. I am USCF candidate master Joshua Posthuma, 15 years old, and without further ado, let's just jump right into this. For my first ever video, I'll be playing a friend of mine, Mainline Novelty, from who I met on twitch.tv, where I do my live streams. So good luck, have fun, let's get right into this. E4 he goes. Okay. I'm gonna go with my old school Caro-Kann. I've been trying a lot the Scandinavian recently, but I really do like my Caro-Kann. I've been playing this like a lot against him, and I feel like he's been studying up on me, so we'll switch it back to this. Okay. And despite what many of you might say, Caro-Kann, it's really not boring. Okay, this line, bishop f5 is most common. I actually really don't like that line for light, for black rather. I like c5 though. I do like this. This actually turns into a very similar to a French structure, but a lot of times black can successfully get their light squared bishop out of the pawn chain, which is a major plus. So yeah, I have a goal this year. I want to post one YouTube video every single day. I don't know exactly why I'm doing it. People have even said that Twitch is the new YouTube, and YouTube's falling behind, and it's the thing of the past. But I really like the idea of being able to post videos online. So I'll see how long I can keep up the whole one video a day thing. Anyway, c4 here. He always does that. I really don't know what to do against it. Bishop g4 is possible, but I feel like it's smarter to just reinforce my center with all this tension going on it. I don't think I want to take on c4. That allows d5, right? That seems kind of devastating. I don't want to take on d4. I don't know why I'd do that. Just allow him to improve his piece. E6 is normal here. But bishop g4 still looks very interesting. Bishop g4, if they take on c5, then let's go in with bishop g4 because I really like putting him in a pin. I don't think he can punish me too bad for neglecting my center with this pin still occurring. Okay, I'll take this with my queen now. And knight c3 I'm expecting, and we might get into this really interesting line where I go bishop takes f3, knight takes d5, bishop takes d1, knight c7 check, and anyway, so it gets really complicated. So looks like I win a piece in that line, right? I win a piece, and then we trade queens. But then he forks me at the end, wins a rook, so he's temporarily up the exchange. I retreat my bishop somewhere to safety, and in that line I'm down the exchange, but his knight is kind of stuck in the corner, so it really becomes a battle of if I can win that knight or not. I could also, if I don't want to go into all that, I could simply retreat. And that's probably a perfectly fine option as well. Let's consider it. If I go back and, well, if I go back to d8, I think I might have some issues. If I go back to d8, maybe d5 becomes strong. d5 takes on f3, queen takes, knight takes e5, bishop b5 check. I can jump back to d7. That seems okay, actually. So I don't know if I want to go in. I don't know if I want to go into this whole bishop takes f3 stuff. Bishop takes f3, knight takes d5, bishop takes queen, knight c7 check. I'd probably go to d7 just to open up the 8th rank. Knight takes a8. Probably retreat my bishop to h5. Yeah, and d5 there maybe, or just winning my c5 pawn. I don't know if I really like that line for me. That doesn't look too great. If I go back here, does he have bishop b5? I take on d4 maybe. I don't know, this seems decent. I could also just go back to d7. But that might allow d5. D5, knight takes E5, they win a piece. I take they take on D7. Yeah, that looks like it wins a piece. And if queen D7, D5, bishop takes F3, if I try to throw in that, oh, then if they take on C6, I might be able to go bishop takes C6, actually. And then the other thing I want to consider is if queen D7, bishop B5, I take on D4. That seems decent. Let's go queen D7. I like that. That seems the most active. We want to seek to quickly get developed after this, right? Like E6, get our pieces out, and get castled kingside. Because the one problem with this line is oftentimes, sorry, oftentimes black doesn't get castled on the king side here. This is the move. He might take with the G pawn, is what I'm kind of scared about now. And yeah, and I realize now I can't take on E5 because bishop B5 is kind of killer. So I might have to go with knight D4 here. Get knight takes E5. Any way I can get out of that? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. And my knight's hit. I have to do something about that. So yeah, knight D4. We'll go with it. And maybe I have something because he has a messed up pawn structure, but my king side's not developed at all. It doesn't look very great for me. I'm thinking he can just go bishop E3 here. And that looks to be winning a pawn. Because he's threatening to just remove this knight and go bishop to B5. That's quite unfortunate. Is queen F5 by any chance any good? Queen F5, he takes here, takes. They can even throw in bishop B5 check then, force my king to move. That doesn't look so great. So what do I do? A6, they win a pawn. And my development is still pretty awkward. Yeah, queen D7 maybe a mistake there. Okay. Well, we should probably go A6. We may be losing a pawn, but we can probably still fight back. It's not at all lost. Opposite colored bishops, that always makes for interesting middle game positions. So now I'm thinking I'm going to go knight H6 and maybe hop that knight into F5 quickly. Yeah, I don't know how I want to get this bishop out because I realize if I ever push E6, white might just be able to push D6, and that's a protected passed pawn. I don't think I can work around that very well at all. So I'm thinking I might have to fianchetto this bishop, castle this way. But the other problem that I'm running into is if I ever go G6 right away now, E6 hits my queen, discovers on my rook. So that's why I want to go knight F5, kick the queen away, and then G6 will be fine. E6 really won't have a threat there. That's the plan. So what might he do? Bishop D3? Can I do it anyways? I don't know. He could then trade, which might be fine for me. I don't know if it's no queen A4. I have to. I don't know. Bishop D3 seems pretty fine for him. Well, okay. Bishop D3. I need to move this queen out of the way. I'm thinking, because E6 otherwise is very strong. So on bishop D3, can I possibly go queen H3? Trying to hit this weak F3 point, as well as allow G6 later. G6 is still awkward after E6. Really is a problem getting developed here. We can look at where it went wrong afterwards. See, I'm thinking bishop D3 is just the solid move for white here. And I really don't know what I'd do in response to that. Really don't know. Maybe, is it possible that I could castle queenside? That really seems kind of weird. Because my other option I was thinking is like rook g8, and then like g6 get developed, but then my king really doesn't have a great place to hide. So I don't know. And the other problem I'm realizing is that this queen is really an important defending piece on my king side. If let's say bishop d3, I go queen h3, bring my queen away to try to get some sort of counterplay going. Even just queen to a4 check there, again, will probably just force my queen back because king d8 is definitely not something I want to allow. And well, it's something I'd want to do. And after queen a4, if I try to block it with b5, it just knight takes b5, and my a pawn is pinned, right? I can never take that because my rook would hang. So, a lot of issues here, a lot of issues. I don't know what he's spending so much time on. I think this looks good, but I may be missing something even stronger for him. So let's think about this again. I go knight f5, this trade. The endgame wouldn't be horrible. It wouldn't be horrible. I think it would relieve a little bit of the pressure. Normally they say if you're down in material, and I am down a pawn here, you don't want to trade pieces. But here, I mean, he does have some weakened, some issues with his pawn structure here, so if I am able to trade into an endgame, relieve the pressure that he has on my king, and then I can develop freely, and then maybe play against these pawn weaknesses, then, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. I don't know. That's ideal. If he lets me trade queens off, or, trade off some more pieces, I'd welcome that. Especially if like a bishop d3, knight f5, and he trades here. You might have heard Maurice Ashley often say the most important trade in chess is bishop takes knight. I think that is definitely true in a position like this, because that would give me an imbalance, also bishop for knight, which also might give me better chances. So if knight f5 is simply queen to g4, just strong here, it might be so. Queen g4. And it's attacked. I can go back, of course, but I don't know about that. The other problem with queen h3 is queen a4, and if I go back to d7, then bishop to b5 looks pretty winning there, as my a pawn again is pinned, and otherwise he wins my queen. So. So. He can attack that. I suppose g6 is possible there, but I don't want him to ruin my pawn structure as well. If I ever go here, I think he might just throw in bishop takes h7 and win a pawn. Gosh, I don't know here. Can I improve this rook at all, like rook c8? I don't know. Let's go knight f5. This is a tough position here. It's possible after queen g4 I'd be okay with just going back. Queen b6. Queen b6, that is something I did not consider. I'm not gonna lie. He is threatening a bishop takes f5 and winning my b7 pawn. Can I go knight h4 here and try to hit that? What is his threat, really, if I move my knight away? No doubt the position's still strong for him, but I don't really get the idea of queen b6. I'm gonna go here and kind of ask him what he's doing. He might castle queenside here. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. But that might, if I can get in g6 and bishop g7 now, might be okay. E6, a possible idea for him. Yeah, but well, no, 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 not really, because if ever e6 I take it, he doesn't want to take with the pawn because he'd lose his bishop, I think. And I don't really think he has any like amazing mate after that. And f3 definitely is hit here. I don't know what queen b6 is about. I was definitely expecting queen g4 or queen f4. I'm not at all out of trouble. I need to get developed before I can even consider saying that I'm out of trouble. Is he gonna try to defend f3? He could also maybe go like bishop e4, defend that, improve his bishop possibly on this diagonal. Bishop e4, is throwing in this check and forcing his king to move really worth it? Sure, it ruins his castling privileges. I don't really care I don't really know how much he cares about his ability to castle right now. It's not like I'd be able to punish his king for not being able to castle in this position. So, can we just go g6 here? e6 takes, pawn takes. What about e6, just queen d6 right away? That would lose my b7 pawn, wouldn't it? E6 seems like an issue here. Go e6 ourselves, d6. Oh, this is tough, especially with the time we have. Maybe we should land this check and get into f4. He's going to go d6. And once I take it, bishop takes b7. Well, maybe not. Let's land this check and get into f4. Depending on where he goes. If he goes to e2, we might even just leave this knight here to allow knight f4 at a later time. If he goes to f1, then we definitely will. No, if he goes to f1, we might be able to consider like this. I don't know if queen h3 really threatens anything. I mean, in fact, I don't think it does. So, yeah, maybe queen h3 not really really worth it, but I don't know. This is mildly awkward for him, I guess. If I go back to f4, my idea is that I'll cover e6 once more. So e6, I can take, and knight takes, and at least then I'm keeping b7 defended once more. And if ever bishop takes b7, I'm going to go rook b8 and put him in a pin, is the idea. So I don't think he'll ever be able to do that. Man, we're both getting pretty low on time here. I'm even lower on time. If I can maybe keep up a fast pace, I might be okay here. Okay, now e6 doesn't really work. I think this is my time to go g6. Now that e6 doesn't really work because his d-pawn is in a pin, I can maybe even consider bishop h6 check, coming out with tempo. I don't know if he chose the best square for his king there. It's always difficult choosing the square to move your piece to, especially a king, when you're in check. Man, this is difficult. My heart's pounding. These pawns are really, really cramping my style. Or maybe like a rook c1, trying to bring another piece into the action. I don't know. Again, I don't know if d6 works, especially now with his king on the d file with my queen. I think definitely king f1 was the place to bring his king to, which does unfortunately block in his rook, which is why I did that. Right, I wanted to try to inconvenience him in some way. I think I succeeded. Um, okay, do we go here now? He's gonna go e6 again, isn't he? Should we throw in like a rook? Bishop h, bishop here, e6. Um, let's go here. E6 now. Takes, pawn takes. Or maybe I don't take it right away. Maybe instead just here right away. Queen c8, keeping b7 defended. Takes, king takes. Is my king safe? Can I take that? Goodness, okay. Wow. He gave me some time there. Don't give me time. I'm giving you time. You tell him, don't give me time. If I'm using typical Canadian, sorry. My thinking was if bishop takes b7, can I go rook to b8? Um, my king is so exposed here. Oh my gosh. Down a pawn still. Okay, let's bring our knight back to f4. Let's bring our king back here. Try to get our king safe. Ooh. Can I take that? I'm gonna take that. My king looks to be safe, completely safe from checks here. Should I save my rook? Or is a move like rook d2 in order? If I'm safe from checks, then I think this might be good. Oh my goodness. I think he missed the win here. Rook c8 check. I don't want to do that. I think I would have had to. King g7, queen f8 mate. Oh my goodness. Wow. GG. That turned, oh my goodness. At the end there, that was just craziness. 10 plus 2, it may seem like a lot of time, but I mean, that increment doesn't go very far, does it? Good game. Good game, mainline. Okay, let's go into the analysis board, get some computer analysis on this, and let's see. 3 inaccuracies, 3 mistakes, and 2 blunders. I'm sure most of those were made near the end there. I'm black. It looks like white was doing really great this entire game. There were periods where I was doing fine. There was a period where I was doing better for just a little bit. But for the most part, white had the advantage this game. Let's start from the beginning and see what happened. E4, C6. Yeah, if you don't believe me that the Caro-Kann can be pretty wild, I mean, you're wrong. This was craziness. C4, bishop G4, C takes D5, queen takes D5. Okay, yeah, the computer really doesn't like queen D7 here. Um, but it really doesn't like this line in general for me. It says white is already plus 0.9. Yeah, so just so you guys can understand what I was thinking about, um, bishop takes f3, and he doesn't want to simply recapture and give up his d4 pawn, right? Because that does eliminate the defender of the d4 pawn. Instead, he'd take my queen, I'd take his, and he's not just going to take here and, what would be the material there? Yeah, he's not just going to simply take there, because if he takes here, I think, yeah, castling queenside is the right move. So there's no more forks. I'm attacking his knight, attacking d4 a bunch, and I think white is in trouble in that line. But instead, he throws in knight c7 check, forking my king and my rook. I move my king. It suggests to d8. I was thinking d7. I don't know if there's much of a difference. Let's see. Yeah, okay, there's much of a difference. It likes king d8. That's interesting. Takes bishop c2. Okay. And takes on c5. And it does like this line, it does slightly like this line for white, but it's really interesting again, where black is temporarily down the exchange, right? They have two rooks, and I have an extra knight. Um, but I'm gonna march over here with my king and see if I can't pick up this knight in the corner. And then having two pieces for the rook is generally good for the side with two pieces. Although, even then in this line, it's difficult, because if I spend all my time marching around with my king and still neglect my kingside development, then I can run into a lot of issues. Like, it suggests e6, just a crazy move there, but it has a purpose. It doesn't just hang a pawn. It's to just make it even harder for me to develop my pieces, right? I have two doubled pawns in front of my bishop now, making it even harder to develop this guy. And then bishop f4, e5, bishop g3. What's wrong with this? Maybe that's fine too. But wow. Yeah, this is a crazy line. Anyways, that's what could have happened. Let's see what actually happened in the game. After queen d7, yeah, remind me not to do it this way ever again. Let's see what the computer says about queen d8 also. That might even be even worse. Yeah, this looks pretty bad after d5 takes, g takes, and bishop f4, it suggests. Okay. Yeah, and the thing is, I'm just not developed on the king side. I think, in general, it would just be better to not go into all these complications for black. In the future, I think I should instead, after c4, go for e6. I know e6 is common, and then after e6, it just makes it a lot easier for black to just get developed, and this is a lot more of a calmer, a lot more normal game. So in the future, I should, yeah, probably just go for that. Get developed. That's what's really important in the opening. Okay. c4, bishop g4, takes, queen takes, knight c3, queen d7. Yeah, d5, he found the right idea here. And I have to take on f3. He doesn't want to take on c6 right away. That's bad for a number of issues. Queen takes d1 here is good. The other thing that I think is fine for black is just taking this c6 pawn with the bishop, saving the bishop and saving the queen that was attacked. So, but yeah, he doesn't want to take there, and he doesn't want to take with the queen because that would, oh, well, I guess taking with the queen is fine too. I was thinking this might be good here, but then I suppose, yeah, he can just move his queen out of the way, attack my knight, and then bishop b5 can still be an issue. So, wow. Tough lines. Tough lines. Still suggests taking with the d-pawn. Knight d4, only way to save the knight and defend that b5 square from bishop b5. That'd be deadly. Bishop e3, a6. Yeah, a6 just seemed forced here. Nothing else really does a good job of defending b5, because with bishop e5, as I was saying, this move just looks to get rid of my knight, right? He's just going to take that, and then I won't have anything defending b5 anymore, and then he'll be able to play bishop e5. So I I was seeing that, and I had to prepare for that to happen with a6. But now I'm just down a clear pawn here. Engine gives white a plus 1.8. That is nearly winning. Because not only is it up a pawn, but black's not developed at all. White has these crushing center pawns. It's really difficult for me to generate any play. My only play that I could see, only counterplay that black could get is against these weak pawns on the king side and against white's king, possibly. That was still not so sure as to where it could go to find safety. So knight h6, bishop d3, knight f5, yep. Queen b6. The computer actually does like this move. What does it think about? It says this is, well, after looking at it, it likes queen b6 even better, but bishop takes f5, queen takes f5. It just says f4, just consolidate the pawn structure. Queen g4, I don't know what I'm doing. It does like the castling queenside idea in these lines. That's really interesting. Thought queen a7 here would put me in some trouble, but I guess not. Not in this exact position, I guess. So instead, after knight f5, queen b6, okay, it says I should go rook c8 here. Yeah, and rook c8 is one of the things I was thinking about, but I don't know. I always wanted to preserve queenside castling ideas, so that's why I was hesitant to do this, but it's probably a good idea. But I did like knight h4. Computer hates it, says I'm totally lost now after knight h4. I thought this was at least a good try to get counterplay, right? Rook c8 might be one of those slowly wither and die, type of moves, whereas knight h4, at least it attempts to get some play. And the computer suggests a really cool move here for white. It just says bishop c2, the brilliant retreating move, right? Doesn't look like it does much, but really white would be trying to reroute the bishop to a4, defended by the knight, and put a pin on me that way and win my queen that way. And it says knight takes f3, king e2, knight d4 check. I have to give up a piece. And here, and is bishop a4 not winning here? Oh, b5. Right. It says I have to give up a piece just to stop bishop a4. That is crazy. All right, so yeah, bishop c2, brilliant there. Missed that. Okay, but bishop e4 is still good for him. Yeah, that's what I was thinking he would do. That arrow's stuck there. What in the world? Oh, wait, never mind. Okay, so knight g2 check. Inaccuracy again. It really thinks I should go rook c8. I agree with it. I mean, I can't activate these pieces, but I can activate this rook. I should at least try to activate my pieces. Knight g2 check, though. King d2. Now it says I'm back in the game. This was that brief period where I have a chance again. After king d2, computer says white is still a tiny bit better, but after g6, it's like black's pretty much equal. Yeah, king c2, bishop g7, e6. Here's where I messed up. And it confuses me too. I was thinking queen d6, can't he just take here? Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah, he's attacking my rook. I thought that might be kind of awkward, but I suppose I can just castle, and now these rooks defend each other, and I've escaped from all that. And I might be down a couple pawns here, but again, I was talking about how in an endgame I might have some chances because of his ruined pawn structure. So yeah, if I had survived this initial attack by white and gotten castled, so it's just equal because I have a lot of play against white's weak structure there. Line's quite interesting. Crazy line, crazy line. Alright, so, but e6, queen c8, yeah, now it says white's doing better again. d6, it likes that move as well. Rook d8, doesn't like that. Yeah, it says e6 was best just to try to keep things closed as much as we can and kind of block off this diagonal, I guess. I didn't really want to allow him a passed d-pawn, though. Tried to blockade that the best I could. And my idea was if bishop takes b7, rook b8, queen b3 check, queen e6, right, and then... Oh, I guess he is winning the exchange here, yeah. So this would have been good for him as well. I think that's what he's talking about in chat. No, that must be at a different point. He says Queen C4. We'll probably get to that in a minute. Okay. So king takes e7, rook g1, knight f4, rook a e1, king f8, king b1. Doesn't like that. Yeah, now I get to take on c3. This is another point where I'm equal, and yeah, it's after bishop takes b7 that this is the only point in the game where it says black has a small little edge here. It says rook b8 is best directly. I thought rook d2 here was a good idea. You know, just a cheap little shot here. I'm not threatening queen b2. He has that well covered, but the idea was, let's say he does something, you know, bad. Got queen c2, and then queen a2 would be mate. Yeah, but he stopped that on just the right way with rook c1. Yeah, queen d3 check. Still says it's about equal here. Okay, and it says I have to go queen a3 to maintain equality. And yeah, this looks like a very hard mate to stop. Actually, if he goes here, what's wrong with queen b1? Well, now it just loves black because, yeah, you forced white's pieces to become passive, and yeah, rook b8 looks very strong, winning a piece. So, queen a3, definitely a missed opportunity. I instead went rook to b8. Yeah, but I should have kept this queen active. I should have kept the threat alive. And then it says queen c5 check, and we get into an endgame again, like rook e8. And this is another thing where I'm even down a pawn here, right? 3 pawns versus 2, but white's pawns are going to fall off possibly quickly because they're so weak. So, missed opportunities. Of course, the time pressure. It's very easy to miss stuff like that in time pressure. After this point, white is simply winning. Yeah, this should be pretty winning. I'd have to go queen d8, but I'm pretty sure white would be able to win this, even with our mutual time pressure. It's hard for white to mess this up, right? Up a queen for a rook. Anyways, good game, Mainline Novelty. Thank you for playing. Sorry about that that flag at the end there. Next time, in the future when I do classical games, especially with strong players like this, I'd like to have a longer increment so that we don't flag in interesting positions like this, and we can keep, you know, at least somewhat decent moves. But anyways, thank you for the game, Mainline Novelty. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time on my YouTube channel. Goodbye.